Now, as promised, Senior Wealth Advisor Darren Farwell of the Farwell Group joins us so we can learn more about finding the best way to plan for our retirement. Good morning, Darren.
Good morning, Marilyn. You know, one of the changes brought about by all these lockdowns we've had in Ontario is that many of us have become quite familiar, even comfortable with video online meetings. Lots of us who never thought that would be okay are pretty comfortable doing online, whether it's Zoom or FaceTime or Teams or WebEx or WhatsApp and on and on and on. There's lots of ways of doing it. But lots of people are really comfortable with online meetings these days. And this has been a real boom for the idea I want to talk about today, which is making finances and financial planning a more practical, efficient family affair. That is something that both in a couple can get involved with. You see, Marilyn, there are a lot of retired couples out there, and there are going to be more as the baby boomers, move through that cycle of life. And in my experience, as the natural division of labor occurs over time, one in the couple tends to be the primary manager for investing in financial planning. Sure, historically, in traditional couples, it's tended to be the man, but certainly not always, and it really doesn't matter. What is clear is that quite often, the spouse who does manage the investments and the financial planning worries a lot about what their partner will do, how they will manage if they aren't there. The wide acceptance of video meetings has already been a step in the right direction for helping look after both in the couple. You see, both partners don't need to be experts. However, being aware of what's happening and why, and most importantly, having a trusted relationship with your financial advisor is a must. Because in all likelihood, the stats are in, one day a couple will likely become one. And during the time of grief and loss and upheaval that follows, it's much easier to not have to get to know your advisor at that point, or even worse, have to look for a new one. So today's 2 tips on how to make the financial planning, the investment side of things, a family affair for both couples. Number 1, use the video online meeting as a way to make it easier to bring both parties in a couple to your investment planning meeting, even if it is only once a year. And number 2, create an agenda for the meeting that respects the interests and times and communication preferences of both parties for that special meeting. In our personal roadmap process for clients, we actually discuss and record the communication preferences of both individuals in a couple separately. We try to understand what information you like to receive and how you like to respond. And with video meetings, it's easy for one person to check in and check out when they get the information that they need. So here's quickly what happened with Dave and Wendy. Dave was way ahead of the curve as far as video meetings happen, and we've been doing meetings online for years. His wife, Wendy, is generally not interested in the market, benchmark returns, semi-annual performance, or even creating and updating the long-term retirement plan. She is, however, always interested in checking in on whether they are on track to maintain their lifestyle through their retirement years. And she's also curious about what things would look like if Dave were to pass away first and she needed costly health care. Those are important concerns for sure. So we made a deal. Wendy would join our annual review call each year. She would join us for a big picture review, which Wendy asked that we sent to her in advance so she could look at it and generate some questions. And in the meeting, she would come in for the big picture review. She asks her questions, and then sometimes she leaves, sometimes she stays. But the video call made it much easier for Wendy to be part of that process. A lot easier than getting ready for a one-on-one meeting downtown, which involved a lot more muss and fuss for her. So in the end, Wendy is more confident and aware of how things are going, and she has a better relationship with her advisor just from speaking and working together over time. And Dave feels better knowing that Wendy would have someone to turn to if something happened to him. So Dave and Wendy's story highlights those 2 tips for making investing and financial planning a family affair. Number 1, schedule a video call together as a couple if in person just isn't happening. And number 2, creating an agenda for that meeting that respects and accommodates what's important and the communication preferences to each of you individually. So ensure your financial advisor makes these part of their ongoing process.
And I gather that the Farwell Group does just that. If someone wants to talk to you about planning for a family affair and video meetings so that it's inclusive and everybody's on the same page, how do we reach you?
Please call 416-863-7501 or visit us at our website, thefarwellgroup.ca.
What you do today will be the foundation of the future. If you want to put your mind at ease, then this sounds like a great idea. All you have to do to get started is call Darren and the Farwell Group at 416-863-7501. And the contact information is on my website, marilyns.ca. So it's easy. It'll take some time, but you'll be able to sleep at night. So thank you, Darren, for that information and for those 2 tips.
Always a pleasure, Marilyn. Look forward to seeing you next time.